A guardian is born from a single human corpse, one that the corruption does not simply consume, but claims. As the tendrils along the walls creep over the body, flesh and biomass fuse into a single horrific whole, forming a grotesque symbiosis between human remains and a living infestation. The transformation is slow, deliberate, and merciless. In its earliest moments, one can still recognize the shape of its host. But as soon as the process nears the end, that last trace of humanity is swallowed, leaving behind the towering monstrosity known as a guardian. In the earliest stage of its creation, the immature guardian still bears a haunting echo of the human it once was. Its upper body clings to a twisted resemblance of its former shape, but from the waist down, the transformation becomes a nightmare of ruptured flesh. The abdomen is split clean down the center, its entrails spilling in long, glistening ropes that sway with every sluggish movement. In this fragile state, the newborn guardian is weak, barely able to lift its head, let alone defend itself. It lies slumped against the corruption that birthed it, lethargic and pitiful, almost convincing as a corpse. Only when a careless survivor wanders too close does it reveal a spark of predatory instinct. With a sudden, desperate jolt, it lashes out with its own dangling organs, flailing wildly in an attempt to cause harm, before collapsing back into its grotesque cradle. Given enough time, the twisted metamorphosis continues, reshaping what remains of the torso into something wholly unhuman. Gradually, the body and the corruption knit together in a seamless, nightmarish union, until flesh and infestation are no longer separate things, but a single, living mass. By the time the creature reaches its mature stage, almost every trace of the original host had been erased. What stands in place of the human is an unrecognizable abomination, an entity sculpted entirely by the will of the infection that claimed it. The first thing one notices about the mature guardian is its sheer size. The creature has swelled far beyond its earlier form, its bulk now swollen with the corruption's added biomass. What once resembled human limbs in the immature stage had vanished entirely, either shriveled into useless remnants or absorbed fully into the infesting growth, discarded now that the guardian no longer has any need for them. The most grotesque changes, however, are found above the shoulders. The lower jaw and much of the neck have been eaten away, leaving the trachea exposed like a pulsing, hollow tube. This open airway leads directly into a gaping, thoracic cavity, now split wide and reshaped by the infection. Below it hangs a newly formed sac, occupying the space where the abdomen once was. A fresh, fleshy organ engineered by the corruption to serve whatever grisly functions the mature guardian now performs. Together, these repurposed structures form the anatomy of the creature that was no longer bound to the limitations of the human body it once inhabited. Within the yawning thoracic cavity lies the guardian's most unsettling development. Its new appendages, coiled in the hollow where the lungs once sat. These tentacles rest in the slick, twisting mass, waiting for movement, for sound, for prey. Two distinctive types have formed. The first are thick, roots-like tendrils that burrow outward to anchor the creature in place. They remain hidden until the guardian senses a hostile presence. Then they lash out, embedding themselves into nearby surfaces with startling speed, locking the monstrosity firmly to its chosen perch. The second is far more deadly, a single tentacle tipped with a scythe-like blade of hardened flesh and bone. This is the guardian's true weapon, its only means of close-quarter assault. When it strikes, the movement is whip-fast and precise, slicing through anything unfortunate enough to wander into its reach. It is this solitary, merciless appendage that transforms the guardian from a stationary horror into a lethal executioner. What appears to be a sagging mass beneath the guardian's torso is, in truth, an orifice, a living canal shaped by the corruption itself. From the swollen sac, the creature expels embryonic spawn, known as pods. These small, writhing offspring spill onto the floor in clusters, skittering or rolling outward to intercept anything the Guardian perceives as a threat. Their purpose is simple and brutal: overwhelm, distract, and keep intruders at bay, while the Guardian remains anchored in its nest, ready to strike with lethal precision. To destroy a Guardian, one must strike at the heart of the monstrosity, its tentacles. Every appendage coiled within the exposed chest cavity must be severed before the creature can be brought down. As long as even one remains intact, the Guardian will continue to lash out with relentless fury. Those with access to explosives have a far easier task. Whether it's a canister left amid the debris or a weapon capable of an explosive firing mode, the strategy is the same. Wait until the Guardian reveals all of its tentacles. When it senses danger, it will extend every one of them. In that moment, aim directly into the gaping chest opening. A single well-placed blast will detonate inside the cavity, shredding the tentacles in an instant and ending the creature's life before it can strike again. Above all else, distance is your only real protection against the Guardian. Closing in on one, especially with short-range weapons like the Ripper, is a gamble that almost always ends in death. The moment you step within reach, the creature reacts with terrifying speed, launching its scythe-tipped tentacles from the depths of its torso. That blade is designed for one purpose: to sever. A single strike can take a head off in an instant. Stay back, stay alert, and never give a Guardian a chance to close the gap. When a Guardian expels a pod, the newborn creature lies for a heartbeat, its surface quivering as it accumulates to the world outside the sac. Then with a sickening stretch, the pod unfurls its tiny tentacle, signaling that it has awakened to its purpose. Once it detects a target, the pod wastes no time. It spits a glob of volatile biomass from afar, peppering the area with ranged attacks meant to harass and drive its victim into a panic. But its most dangerous trait comes when someone ventures too close. The pod swells, shudders, and detonates in a burst of corrosive energy, sacrificing itself in an attempt to wound or kill whoever dared to approach. In the end, the Guardian is not merely a creature. It is a monument to the corruption's relentless hunger. A grotesque fusion of dead flesh and living infestation. Every stage of its transformation, every tentacle, and every pod serves a single purpose: to defend the growth that created it